Hi, this is episode 98 of Crondos. I'm your host, Jordan Hudgens. I'm a Ruby dev and the CTO of the DevCamp platform. I spend quite a bit of time talking about what it takes to become a great developer. In order to achieve a level of mastery, I've discussed a number of criteria, and today I want to add a new prerequisite to the list. Let me begin by asking you a question. If I showed you some code, would you be able to tell me in just a few seconds if it's good or not? The world of software development is incredibly complex. However, I've discovered through the years that the best developers have the uncanny ability to instantly judge the quality of someone's code. I've spoken at length that the concepts of prodigies and savants are a myth. But if this is the case, how can expert developers be able to analyze programs so quickly? To answer this question, we need to go back to fake ancient Greece. And I say fake ancient Greece because my favorite illustration of mental models was discovered alongside one of the greatest forgeries in modern art history. In Malcolm Gladwell's book Blink, he tells a story of the Greek Kouros. In 1985, the Getty Museum purchased a Greek statue called the Kouros for over $9 million. Initially, the museum was hesitant to purchase a statue because there was a significant fear that the sculpture was a fake. Kouros pieces are so incredibly rare, the chances of a legitimate and well cared for piece had been discovered were slim to none. However, the museum was willing to take the risk and embarked on a fact-finding mission. They put this statue through every scientific test available at the time, and the Kouros passed with flying colors. After going through the full scientific examination, the museum purchased the Kouros for $9 million. Art historians from around the world were flown in for the unveiling of the Kouros, but something went terribly wrong. The moment that these specialists saw the statue, they knew the Kouros was a fake. Interestingly enough, they couldn't find any actual reason. They simply knew that something was not quite right. Their suspicions turned out to be correct, and the Kouros ended up being proved to be a hoax. But how were these individuals able to do what countless scientific studies could not? It all comes down to mental models. In preparation for this guide, I was discussing the topic of mental models with a friend and was surprised when she looked at me confused. After informing me that she'd never heard of mental models, I decided to add in a section to explain what they are. And after this, I'm going to get into how we can build them to learn development. A mental model is a mental representation of a specific topic or skill. You can't create a mental model overnight with a cram session. Mental models are developed through years of repetition and countless hours of honing a craft. My dad's a major league hitting coach for the Houston Astros. Throughout my life, I've been able to watch him instruct hitters on how they can improve their swings, and I'll never stop being amazed by the fact that he can watch a new hitter swing and within a split second pick out multiple ways that the hitter can improve. I can tell you he did not develop this skill in a short period of time. He's spent more time watching hitters and film than anyone I know, and through the years, he's developed a mental model of what the perfect swing should look like. Okay, so we've talked about art historians and baseball coaches, but how can we develop mental models as programmers? You may or may not like the answer. However, it doesn't really matter because it's the truth. Mental models are made through repetition. However, repetition by itself isn't enough. For example, if you built an identical program every day for 10 years, you'd get really good at building that one application. However, you wouldn't improve as a developer. I've talked before about how medical research shows that doctors who have spent years practicing on the same types of patients are less proficient than doctors fresh out of residency. In the same way, as developers, we improve when we're stretching ourselves every day. You can stretch yourself by doing things such as learning a new language or framework, teaching others how to learn programming, or creating an open source code library and allowing other developers to use it. Einstein said it best when he said, "The only source of knowledge is experience." If you dedicate enough time each day to improving yourself as a developer, you'll be able to truthfully answer yes to the question I posed at the start of this guide. You'll be able to have the ability to look at a piece of code and instantly know if it's good or bad. And you'll know that it's not some type of coding superpower. Instead, it's a skill that you earned through your constant pursuit of improving as a developer.